How did I start producing music? Well, it all started 18 years ago. You see, back then, things were so much more simple. We didn't have all this new technology to help us create music, so instead, we had no choice but to learn an instrument and build upon our critical listening skills. So I started with a copy of Fruity Loops 3, what is now commonly known as FL Studio. And what genre did I produce, you ask? Well, just imagine hip-hop and R&B mixed together with industrial music. Yep, I know, it didn't make any sense at all. But as time went on, I slowly started to craft my skill set. Most of my learning came from books and pure self-learning, as platforms such as YouTube were not at their peaks yet. I then transitioned from Fruity Loops to Reason for a brief while, as I just wanted to try out something new. After several months of using Reason, I felt like it weren't for me, so I decided to try out Ableton. And that's when I finally found my true love. I loved the clean, all-in-one window look. I loved how quickly I could just lay an idea down and just get straight to work. And I also loved how user-friendly it was for someone who was brand new to production. Ever since then, Ableton became my primary production DAW, with FL Studio getting a little use now and then as well. Fast forward to now, I'm still enjoying the process of creating with Ableton Live, and I've seen it grow into such a powerful DAW. I sharpened up my production skills even more and decided to concentrate on chart-based music for the last 14 years, where I spent most of my time as a ghost producer. I've actually never really wanted to become an artist. Instead, I enjoyed the process of just being a complete loner behind the scenes. From production to engineering to arrangement, these are a few things that I specialize in. Here are 5 tips for you beginners. Tip number 1. It doesn't matter what DAW you use. There are quite a few options when choosing your first DAW, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're brand new to music production. They essentially all allow us to do the same thing. They allow us to make music. But then why do people use different DAWs then? Well, this can be down to a few factors. What do you like the look of? Which user interface is easier for you to navigate? What's your budget? Are you going to perform live? And the list goes on and on. Each DAW will have their own pros and cons, and some may be stronger at doing a specific something than another DAW. You just need to do a little bit of research and find out what's best for you. You may even want to learn more than just one DAW as you get more experience, just to open up your workflow. As I've previously mentioned in this video, I use Ableton Live and FL Studio to produce my music. However, I also use Logic Pro X and Pro Tools for engineering tasks. And why is that? Because that's my workflow. Not everybody uses Ableton. A lot of other people actually use different DAWs to record or produce their music in. So it's actually pretty beneficial for me to know multiple DAWs, so I can actually work with clients in a specific way. And this sort of leads on to tip number 2. Find your workflow. Every single producer has their own workflow. Some producers may be sample-based, while other producers want to create everything from scratch. And both ways of producing are completely fine. And yes, it will take a little bit of time for you newbies to actually find your workflow or find what you're comfortable with. Tip number 3. Learn some music theory. This will help you lay down your ideas so much quicker. Knowing what chords to use and when to actually use them can really take out all the guessing work. You could use third-party VSTs such as Captain Chords or Cthulhu, but they don't really teach you anything. Learning music theory will come in handy not only for making chords and melody, but for understanding rhythm. That is huge. Shameless plug, I've got a free music theory for producers course, so go grab that. I'll put the link in the description down below. Tip number 4. Networking. Have you ever heard that saying, it's not all about the talent, it's about who you know? Unfortunately, that's somewhat true. Building your links in the industry can be challenging but rewarding. Go to small live venues and introduce yourself, collaborate with other producers, and try your best to get your name out there. Networking will allow you to send out your music directly to radio presenters instead of paying radio pluggers, which can actually cost a fair bit. Tip number 5, invest in some basic equipment. You don't really need much these days. You can actually start with a semi-decent laptop and a pair of studio-grade headphones. As time goes on, look to invest into an audio interface and a pair of studio monitors, as they can really help you elevate your production game. You'll most likely want to invest in third-party plugins for your DAW as well. These could be soft synths or even plugins to help you mix your tracks. But if your funds are low and you're super broke, there's not much you can do about it besides stick with the stock plugins on any DAW. And to be fair, sometimes that's all you need. Subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.